Hello class 2 and welcome back to another maths lesson. So yesterday we finished our outcome for our experience on multiplication. So today what we're going to look at is solving multiplication, addition and subtraction problems. So you're going to be using all of your knowledge on addition, subtraction and multiplication today. So let's have a look at our learning objective and success criteria. Our learning objective is to be able to solve multiplication, addition and subtraction problems. 1, I can identify the correct operation. Now your operation is multiplication, subtraction and addition. And 2, I can solve the calculation using my preferred method. So what I've done is I have created a sheet for you. Now the normal one just has the questions like this, but there are a few more than this. And the red level has some reasoning problems as well. But to start off with, we're just going to look at the normal ones. So let's start off with addition, and we'll go through some different addition methods we could use. So we're going to use the question or the problem 4 add 4. I'm going to use this to go through the 3 different methods I'm going to recap with you on addition. So the first method we're going to recap is we're going to recap counting on, and that was the method that we used in our heads, or we could use our fingers to help us. So if we counted on, we would start at 4 and then we'd count on 4 more, and we can use our fingers. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the counting on method would help us find our answer. Or we could use the part whole method. So the whole would be the one big circle, and the parts would be 2 circles coming off of this one. So the whole we don't know yet, but the 2 parts are 4. If you needed more help with this one than just doing it like this, you could also draw them. And then you could add them up that way by counting them all together. So if we did it like that, we'd be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You would be drawing them inside your part whole method, but I didn't draw mine big enough to. So yours would look more like this. Okay? The other method you could do is the bar model. Now for this method, you would need a ruler and your pencil. I don't have a ruler, so I'm going to have to be really naughty and draw it out without a ruler. Okay, so remember on the top is what it equals, and on the bottom are your 2 that you're using. Now remember, this was easier with boxed paper, so I will put on the timetable some boxed paper for you to use if you would like to print it out and use it, but you don't have to. It's just when we do it, we usually do it into the boxes so we can count the boxes and use the boxes to help us. So we would then put our total up there. Now each of these methods I have used, I found the same answer, 8. So remember, you can use the counting on method where you start with the one number, which is usually your biggest number, and you count on using your fingers to find the other number. Or you could use the part whole method, either with just the numbers or by drawing the dots. Or you could use the bar method, which again, you could draw the dots for the bar method if you aren't using squared paper. Okay? So those are your methods for addition. Now let's have a look at our methods for subtraction. Now I know this is a really quick run through of all of the methods, and the reason that is because hopefully you remember a lot of them, and I'm just trying to refresh your knowledge on them. So the first method we're going to look at for subtraction is finding the difference. So for finding the difference, we would draw the dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then underneath it, you're going to draw the number that you know of. Make sure they're directly underneath. You could then use a different colour and draw the rest of the dots. And then you'll count those up. And I know that here there are 8. So I'd put 8 here as my answer. So that is finding the difference. Another model we could use is the part-whole model. But this time, rather than knowing the two parts, we know the whole, which is 10, and we know one part, which is 2. Again, we could draw the dots to help us find this, or if we know the answer, we just pop it in there. Another method we could use is the bar method. Again, I don't have a ruler, so I can't draw it out neatly, but you would hopefully have a ruler. So you have 10 at the top, and then you find your 2. Now remember, if you have the boxes, it's a lot easier to do, but you could draw it out as dots. So if you draw it out as dots, you'd have 2 in there, and your rest of your dots. So you'd have 10 dots drawn out, and then you just separate them by the number that you knew. And I can see that there are 8 dots there, so my answer is 8. So I know my answer is 8 for this problem. So as I say, you can use the finding the difference method, you could use the part-whole method, or you could use the bar method for subtraction. Now, most recently, we have been doing multiplication. So I'm just going to quickly recap the methods for multiplication you could use. You could use repeated addition, which for this one is 2 times 5, so we'd have 2 lots of 5. So 5 add 5. You could use grouping, so we'd draw 2 groups of 5. 5, 10. Or you could use arrays, and we'd have 2 rows of 5. So whichever method you'd like to use that to help you to find the answer. So as I say, this was just a really quick video to remind you of all the different methods you could use. So you could have used counting on using your fingers for addition. You could have used the part-whole method or the bar method for addition. For subtraction, you could have used finding the difference, the bar model or the part-whole model. And for multiplication, you could have used repeat addition, grouping or arrays. If there is another method that you can remember that you prefer to use, you could also use that. But please try and solve the problems using the question sheet and using your favourite method to help you. So if you've chosen to do the red level of challenge, you have got some reasoning problems to solve. Now let's have a look at one together to quickly go through and help you think about what you need to do. In a shop, grapes come in bunches of 10. Max wants to buy 40 grapes. Are there enough grapes? So he's got bunches of 10 and there's 5 of them. I'm going to use my knowledge of counting in multiples because I think this is almost like timesing at the moment. So I'm going to use my knowledge of counting in multiples. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So I think there are 50 grapes. Let's have a look at the question again. In a shop, grapes come in bunches of 10. Max wants to buy 40 grapes. Are there enough grapes? So I would then need to give a reason for my answer, and I'm going to say yes, there are enough grapes, but I need to say why I know there are enough grapes. So yes, because this we said would be 5 times 10 as a multiplication, because there are 5 groups of 10, so 50 grapes. You could also maybe try and work out how many more grapes that is than Max wants. So you could, if you really want to extend your knowledge and challenge yourself, say that is 10 more grapes than he needs. So use your knowledge of addition, subtraction and multiplication to solve some of these problems. You're going to have to work out for some of them what you need to do. Do you need to do multiplication? Do you need to do subtraction? Or do you need to do addition? Give it a go. Some of these will be quite tricky, but I want you to really challenge yourselves and try your best. Once you have finished the problems, don't worry if you didn't do them all. You just had to do as many as you possibly could in the lesson and try your best, which I'm sure you all did. Have a look at the learning objectives and success criteria. Our learning objective today was to be able to solve multiplication, addition and subtraction problems. 1, I can identify the correct operation. 2, I can solve the calculation using my preferred method. If you think you've met those success criteria, leave yourself a comment at the end of your paper, or just reflect on it and think, how did you think you did with those success criteria? Did you meet them? Or think about maybe what you could do to improve next time.